Hey everybody, this is TCG Productions here, and today we are going to be doing a bit of a special unboxing video. So let me tell you the story. A few days ago, I was looking around on eBay, and this is like where half of these videos began. Me looking around on eBay somewhere. But I just so happened to find an 80 gigabyte Western Digital hard drive of some sorts. I don't even know why I started looking on it. I don't even know what took me to eBay, unless I just got on eBay and just started looking at hard drives for no particular reason other than to kill time. Anyways, a long story short, I found an 80 gigabyte Western Digital EIDE, a Western Digital 80 gigabyte special edition enhanced IDE hard drive. Now you might be like, okay, it's pretty cool, but the thing about it is this particular drive is still in the box, and the box itself is still in the factory shrink wrap, and it has been there for 20 years. So we're talking about a hard drive that has not seen the light of day basically since it got packed up at the factory and had the shrink wrap put on it more than 20 years ago in 2000. Probably around 20 years ago in 2002. So anyways, let me point the camera at some pretty wild angles and just in generally random parts of the room. I really should just go ahead and cut over to after I have the camera adjusted. And set the white balance to something reasonable. Okay, so here we are. Western Digital hard drive. Let me see. Get that reasonably centered in the frame. Western Digital hard drive. Easy to install, complete kit, guaranteed compatibility. Designed to protect your data. Special edition with 8 megabytes of cache. Ultra ATA 100. Protected by Data Lifeguard. 3-year warranty. That's about 17 years expired. And toll-free technical support. 80 gigabytes, 7200 RPM. So, and then special edition, lightning fast. The secret to speed, WD's 8 megabyte cache. WD's 100 gigabyte drive with 8 megabytes cache. Fastest, bestest IDE drive ever. Maximum PC, March 2002. WD's 120 gigabyte drive with 8 megabytes cache. Delivers the desktop performance of a good 10,000 RPM drive. StorageReview.com, January 2002. WD's 120 gigabyte drive with 8 megabytes cache. Outperforms SCSI drives. Tom's Hardware Guide, March 2002. 4 times more cache than competing drives. And these days, you can easily get hard drives with 32 megabytes of cache is like the standard option. And in the hard drive of my file server has 256 megabytes worth of cache on board. Let's see. The Western Digital hard drive, internal enhanced IDE. The Western Digital promise. Angle the camera a bit. The Western Digital promise. Western Digital has earned a reputation as a company that understands the importance of the data stored on our hard drives. We're committed to protecting our customers' data with reliable, high-performance storage products and superior customer support and services. That's nice to hear, but the real way to protect your data is the 3-2-1 backup strategy. So you have 3 copies, 3 backups, 2 formats, 1 off-site. And if you can't do the two formats, at least do 1 off-site. Data Lifeguard. Western Digital's exclusive combination of hardware features and software utilities designed to protect your data. It includes embedded error detection and repair features that proactively protect your data, and software tools that make installation, configuration, and diagnostics simple and worry-free. Put your life on it. Trademark. And let me see, pull that out to wide angle. Okay. I mean, you gotta try to get a decent angle on this where you can see it and I can read it. Easy to install. We've provided everything you need to quickly install your hard drive and set up your system. Install the drive. Includes complete illustrated step-by-step instructions. Run the software. Our software tools make installation, configuration, and diagnostics simple and worry-free. Today's capacity-hungry digital technologies require plenty of hard drive space. You ain't kidding. Digital photo albums need 0.6 megabytes per picture. Digital music collections use 250 megabytes per hour. Digital video editing consumes about 15 gigabytes per hour of video. Desktop applications require up to 2 gigabytes of storage space. Now, this next one, it's laughable because, I mean, you've seen the installation size on Forza Horizon 5, have you? Advanced games fill over 1 gigabyte. Internet movie downloads are coming soon and require 2 to 3 gigabytes per hour. Music, photos, video, and games. WD hard drives have what it takes to handle it all. And then we get another blurb about WD's Data Lifeguard Tools. Software tools that make drive installation, partitioning, formatting, and drive copy simple and worry-free. Includes software to overcome operating system and BIOS limitations. Installation information. Illustrated step-by-step instructions to answer your questions and make installation and drive setup a snap. Installation hardware. Complete with jumpers, screws, and a 40-pin 80-conductor IDE interface cable. Now, for those of you that don't know the significance of an 80-conductor IDE interface cable versus a 40-conductor IDE interface cable, an 80-conductor IDE interface cable reduces interference for better transfer rates. Now, say you're working with an older system which only uses like ATA 33 or ATA 66. Okay, sure, it doesn't matter what cable you use. But once you get up into ATA 100 and even Ultra ATA 100, you are going to want an 80-conductor IDE interface cable, or else you're not going to get the speeds that you have paid for with your expensive hard drive and your expensive hardware, assuming you purchase like a dedicated IDE controller card that supports Ultra ATA 133. Award-winning technical support. And, there's a little image there. Quick installation guide, floppy diskette, screws, hard drive, and a cable. Award-winning technical support. Our commitment to quality also shows in our technical support, which provides friendly, toll-free support, as well as around-the-clock, online, intelligent troubleshooting. Express RMA service and free online diagnostics and warranty software. Western Digital, 2511 Lake Forest Drive, Lake Forest, California, 92630 USA, www.westerndigital.com. Here's the various awards. Talk about an old logo right there, referring to the Best Buy. And of course we get the usual blurb down here. Western Digital and the Western Digital logo are registered trademarks of Data Lifeguard and Fit Lab trademarks of Western Digital Technologies Incorporated. Other marks may be mentioned herein that belong to other companies. Copyright 2002 by Western Digital Technologies Incorporated. All rights reserved. Manufactured in Malaysia or Thailand. And system requirements on this side. Western Digital hard drive. Internal enhanced IDE. System requirements: IDE ATA interface, 40-pin connector, 3.5 inch or 5.25 inch internal drive bay, and an Ultra ATA capable system. 100% guaranteed compatibility. All Western Digital products are extensively tested to ensure compatibility with computer systems, operating systems, and peripherals. And then we have a couple of logos here designed for Microsoft XP 2000 and ME and Mac. And I forget what the real meaning of the logo in the bottom left is for. Smart system compatible, so self-monitoring, analysis, and reporting technologies. That line going down the middle is given the camera fits. Certified functional integrity testing. I think that's a Western Digital thing, and Enhanced IDE. And given that this is coming from a company such as Western Digital, it's probably a safe assumption that the various logos there are the actual logos of the products, services, or technologies that they represent. And the smart system logo is, I believe, the same thing. The same thing is, I believe, the original Smart Systems logo. Now, if you're wondering what SMART is, it's self-monitoring analysis and reporting technologies, and it dates back to 1990 when Western Digital originally introduced the world's first intelligent hard drive. Now, I say intelligent because most of the device electronics are integrated onto the hard drive and or the computer, and thus the name IDE. Integrated Device Electronics, I believe. So you're talking about IDE and SMART basically debuting on the same product. So yeah, quite the revolution. It's a little, I'm not going to go into the details of how we wound up with serial ATAs like SATA 3 and NVMe. That's a long story, and it would basically quadruple the length of this video. So this hard drive is still in the factory shrink wrap. That's what that line was going down the side of the package. And so it has been in here since 2002, 20 years at this point. So we are officially going to break the seal and open a brand new, in-the-box Western Digital hard drive after 20 years in the dark. The seal has officially been cut. Yeah, these are actually stickers on the box, and woo-wee, are those labels super reflective now. So, let's go ahead and I don't want to damage the box. I don't know if it's just me or if that cardboard has stiffened up over the course of 20 years. Oh yeah. Western Digital proof of purchase. Congratulations on your Western Digital purchase. I really wonder how many hands this drive has been through in the past 20 years. So let's see. First thing we have here is a 3-year limited warranty pamphlet thing. And some pretty nice card stock. So let's see. You see, 3-year limited warranty. I'm not going to read all of this legalese, but I'll type it out in the description if I remember. And speaking of, I do plan on making publicly available a copy of the floppy diskette containing the Western Digital Data Lifeguard Tools. If I forget to do this, please leave a comment and I will do so. Oh, what is this? Western Digital free software offer. PC Treasures Incorporated, 2765 Metamora Road, Oxford, Michigan. Zip code 48371-2357. Save up to 75%. Okay, let's... Okay. American Greetings Create a Card. Oh boy. Britannica 2003 and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Ordered 1 title free, and for maximum savings, buy 5 titles and get a second title free. Windows XP and Macintosh programs available. And I'll scan in this documentation And I'll probably even do a box scan here. So again, if I forget to do this, please let me know in the comments section and I will do that. And just pay $4.47 to ship your entire order. All titles include retail values up to $29.99. Broader Bun 3D Home Architect 3.0. I know I've got a copy of the 3D Home Architect floating around here somewhere. Family Lawyer 2002. Rand McNally Trip Maker. The maps on that. Rand McNally Trip Maker. Well, if you lived in the DFW Metroplex at the time, the maps there would be obsolete the moment you took it out of the box. So, and we have some more documentation in the back. Ooh, boy, we have multicolored paper here. Okay. Important notice. Two important notices, actually. Important notice. Hard drive formatting issues in Windows Millennium, Windows 98, and Windows 95 only. I guess I don't mention Windows 90. Oh wait, Windows 98 all versions. Huh. So this includes Windows 98 SE. For 32 gigabyte drives and higher, several Windows operating system limitations have been identified and confirmed by Microsoft. Windows Millennium may exhibit the following problem. Format displays the size of partitions or logical drives larger than 64 gigabytes incorrectly. Microsoft Article Base ID number Q263045. Windows 98 all versions. Windows 98 may exhibit the following problems. F-disk does not recognize the full size of hard drives larger than 64 gigabytes. Q263044. Format displays the size of partitions or logical drives larger than 64 gigabytes incorrectly. Q263045. ScanDisk reports errors on hard drives larger than 32 gigabytes. Q243450. Windows 95 all versions. Windows 95 does not support hard drive capacities greater than 32 gigabytes. That I believe is a limitation of the file system technologies that were in use at the time. Users should upgrade to Windows 2000, Millennium, 98, or Windows NT 4.0 Service Pack 4 or higher. So we have that. And we have another important notice here. Data Lifeguard Tools version 2.8 installation issues for Windows XP, Windows 2000, and Windows NT users only. The Data Lifeguard Tools diskette version 2.8 is not necessary for the installation of your new Western Digital hard drive under the following operating systems: Windows XP, Windows 2000, and Windows NT. However, the DLG Tools diskette may be used to determine whether the BIOS of your computer system will support the full capacity of your new hard drive. Please boot from the DLG Tools diskette and follow the recommendations for BIOS support, and, if necessary, proceed with the installation after upgrading your BIOS. To install a single hard drive, boot to Windows XP, 2000, or NT and follow the directions on the installation prompt. To install an additional hard drive in Windows XP users, click the Start button and point to Control Panel, Performance and Maintenance, Administrative Tools, Computer Management. Right-click on your new hard drive and proceed with partitioning and formatting. Of course, that's probably assuming it's going to automatically redirect you to disk management, because from the factory this drive does not even have so much as a partition table on it. So, if I remember correctly, my experience with that kind of stuff is that if you open up computer management through any means, Windows, upon detection of a hard drive with no partition table on it, is going to automatically pull you over to the disk management console applet. and it's basically the same thing. So again, I'll scan all of these in and make available photocopies of them. Oh boy. So, okay. Western Digital Hard Drive Data Lifeguard Tools version 2.8. Easy install, diagnostics, BIOS check, and Ultra ATA management. Do not discard. This diskette contains valuable diagnostic and configuration utilities. Store the diskette in a safe place. And copyright 2001. How about that? It is a 1.44 megabyte high density floppy diskette, as indicated by the logo up there. And isn't that a pristine, oh, yeah, that's an interesting effect. Alright, and that was neatly tucked away inside the Western Digital installation guide. So yeah, let me see. It basically tells you how to take apart your computer and configure the hard drive and whatnot. Connecting the hard drive to a controller card. Oh yeah, this is definitely a very detailed guide. And this looks like a generic manual. Western Digital eIDE Hard Drives Installation Guide. Copyright 2001, Western Digital Corporation, all rights reserved, revised 0501, so May 2001. And there's a decent section in here for Apple Macintosh computers. So troubleshooting, and it's all in English. There's a support phone matrix. Yeah, support phone matrix 800 ask for WDC. It's pretty cool. Yep, you certainly wouldn't get something like that these days. And yeah, I'm going to need if I scan this in, I'm going to need a nice large, a big old large format scanner. I wonder if there's like a photo print copy shop that's willing to scan something like this for me, because that is huge. And we'll take a detailed look at this later in the video. So, but this is a very nicely done quick installation guide, not like the thing you get on a postage stamp sized piece of paper. So here's the hard drive coming out of the box for the first time in quite a while. I really like these ends. They look weird, but I don't want to dent 20-year-old packaging. So yeah, WD 800. And here it is. This drive, it is seeing the true light of day for the first time in about 20 years. Let me see. 26th of October 2002. So 19 years it has been since this drive has seen the light of day. Yeah, 19 years and just a little under 6 months. This is April 12th. No, it's April 13th. So 19 years, 5.5-ish months. But yeah, that's how long it's been since this drive has seen the light of day. fresh air, power. So, set that off to the side. And, okay, we've got a little pack of stuff here. Huh. You can see the browning down here. Wonder what all that's about. Huh. I didn't notice any. Didn't think of it. No? I don't know what that browning effect is about, so. But we have a sealed in the bag interface cable, and let me see, we have 4 screws and a configuration. We have 4 screws and an IDE configuration jumper. So, but yeah, there everything is out of the box. So, the next step is to go ahead and bring up. The next step is going to be to go ahead and bring a computer up onto the table, which I have not yet introduced on video, at least in its current form. The system has seen appearances on video before. If you want to take a guess as to what it is, if you want to take a guess as to what this system is, I'm going to provide you a hint with what it has been on in the past, maybe on video, but I'm not sure. This particular computer was the Tech Room firewall system, and it also was the Tech Room network bridge machine many moons ago. So, I'm going to go ahead and put these things back in the box. And so I'll go ahead and bring this system up here on the table, and let's see if I can somehow manage to get this crazy thing in there. Let's see if it works. Okay, everybody, we are, well, a little over 48 hours in the future from the time the last clip ended. It is now, let me see, Friday, April 15th. So, here we are, and we are here with the computer I was talking about just a little bit ago. I've done a little bit of reconfiguration. Over here with the hard drives, which, as you can see, there are plenty of them. So, just to give you, so let me see. There's all kinds of Molex hackery and adaptery going on here, but for the scope of this video, I'm going to explain just a couple of things. This hard drive up here, the one I'm moving around, that's the 80 gigabyte max store drive I plan on swapping out. And that's the second time I've kicked the tripod in some way. And this is the 40 conductor IDE. That's the 40 conductor IDE cable. And yeah, I have not even I haven't taken this one out of the bag yet, because I have absolutely no idea if this hard drive actually works or not. Yeah, I have not yet broken the seal on the anti-static bag. Yeah, Western Digital branding. Caution! Hard disk drives are delicate electronic devices. Handle with care. Avoid electrostatic discharge. Richmond Dry Pack 3000, October 2002. And then some kind of a code on the end. 1715. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I will say that definitely looks like a valid 24-hour time. Where were we? I think we were talking about the IDE cable. Yes, the IDE cable is still the 40 conductor IDE cable that I scavenged up out of I don't know when or where. I literally have a box of 34 and 40 pin ribbon cables. Now, I don't have any like 50 pin SCSI cables or anything, but that's not a problem. That's not something I've had to deal with. So, anyways, so the Maxtor hard drive, I have manually jumpered that as a slave drive on this particular IDE channel, and I'm more than a bit certain that the Western Digital drive is shipping from the factory jumpered as cable select. So I've used IDE hard drives both with cable select turned on, both jumpered for cable select and separately jumpered for master slave. I prefer to manually jumper them for master slave because I have had systems do some bizarre things. Like I had one system a while back that decided to basically lock up during the power on self test. I wasn't sure if it was a soft lock or if it was like a hard lockup, system stops responding type thing. But I have had a system lock up whenever the hard drives or whenever the devices on the IDE channel were set to cable select. So I manually jumpered for master slave and the problem disappeared. In fact, I always prefer doing master slave. It's kind of like ISA plug and play. Turn it off and manually assign your IRQs and DMAs. Because, well, not to say that ISA plug and play wasn't an improvement, but it could do some really fun things. So I think we are officially ready to break the seal on the anti-static bag protecting the hard disk. Are we ready? I think it's still airtight. So, after more than 19 years in the bag, more than 19 years sealed up in the dark, in the box, here we go. Yep, that was an airtight seal. The seal has now been unsealed. Welcome to the world. Let me see. Oh, yeah, 40-pin connector. Single or master. Master with slave, present or slave. I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah, we are definitely jumpered for cable select. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to master. So before we even power the drive up for the first time, I'm grabbing out a pair of tweezers and rejumpering for master. Or shall we say, removing the jumper for master, because according to the setup chart here, single drive or a master drive. Oh, wait, we actually do need that jumper. Need to put it in the middle set of pins. Of course, I know everything's way off camera, but I need to see this more than you do. Yeah, according to the setup chart here, master with slave present. We do have a slave on the ATA channel. And I just dropped the jumper. Master with slave present. And we definitely do have a slave device on the ATA channel in question. So, now that we have properly set up the hard drive, some of you guys that have been working on this, that have worked with IDE drives before, ooh man, look at that shiny PCB. All kinds of fancy test jumpers, and they're not oxidized. But now that, some of you old timers that have been working with this stuff for a while are probably getting some pretty good flashbacks to dealing with configuration jumpers on IDE hard drives. But now, zoom this in way over there, and let's plug this thing in. Plugging in the cable and power, and just to be on the safe side, I'm going to put a bit of insulation between the hard drive and the case in the form of this torn off Jimmy Dean biscuit, sausage, egg, and cheese sandwiches thing from an 8-count pack that I finished off this morning. And there we go. So, but the next thing I'm going to do is, we're going to power the system on, and we're going to boot from the Western Digital Data Lifeguard Tools floppy diskette, which is over here somewhere. There we go. Oh, first thing I do is drop it. That's not good. Can you believe that there is a 22-year-old floppy diskette which has never been inserted into a floppy drive? I cannot speak. So I'm going to go ahead and reposition things and get set up for that, and we will be back in a short while. Okay, so we are back, and I have inserted the Western Digital Data Lifeguard Tools floppy diskette into the floppy drive in this computer. The power supply switch is now on. And let's power this system up. Let's power up the hard drive for the first time since it left the factory 19.5 years ago. Here we go. Hard drive has come up. Hard drive is calibrated. Okay, F11, boot menu, please. Auto-detecting primary master. Press escape to abort. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and head into setup so I can calibrate the monitor, so that way I can set up the camera for the monitor. So we're jumping from master with slave present. Okay. Yeah, it's not detecting that secondary IDE channel, so. Yeah, so I may have actually jumpered both drives. I may have just accidentally jumpered both drives incorrectly. Either that or the drives are just fighting each other on the ATA channel. Because I know it was detecting the Maxtor hard drive. Okay, here we are in setup. So now I'm going to take this opportunity to go ahead and set up the camera. Yeah, it looks like we're already pretty reasonably set up. So, dealing with the age-old classic of hard drive troubles. Well, dealing with the age-old classic of IDE hard drives not showing up. And it's both drives on the same channel, because it's detecting my IDE CD-ROM drive, an HP DVD Writer DVD300i from 2003. So, yeah, the hard drive just come up and calibrated. So I'm not entirely sure what's up with this. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. But I'm willing to bet it's probably configuration jumpers that are just incorrectly set. We know that the Western Digital drive is jumped from master with slave present. However, I don't know if that is compatible with the Maxtor drive sitting in the slave position on the ATA channel. So, well, we'll be back yet again. So I hit record, and the first thing the camera does is go out of focus. Wonderful. Anyways, yep, I definitely had the IDE configuration jumper set incorrectly. I had cable select turned on for the Maxtor drive, and the Western Digital drive was hard jumper to slave. Okay, let's give this camera something to focus on. So let's go ahead and spam the daylights out of the delete key, hoping we can get into setup. Okay, we managed to get through setup pretty quickly. Okay, what is this camera doing? Okay, so on the IDE channel in question, it detected a hard drive. Okay, let's see here. There we go. Primary IDE master. It has detected the 80 gigabyte hard drive. Let's go ahead and turn on 32-bit transfer mode. It is not detecting. I have that set to, yeah, for some reason I had the primary IDE slave manually turned off, but we turn it on and we have a hard drive, a Maxtor 4R080L0. Literally every second, literally every first digit, it seems, is a number. So, and I'll go ahead and turn on 32-bit transfer mode for that. Okay, 32-bit transfer mode is turned on. We'll save and exit. And then the next place we're headed to is the boot menu to boot up the Western Digital Data Lifeguard Tools floppy diskette, which I have mentioned before is already in the floppy drive. And hopefully the floppy drive has not mangled it. But given the fact that the floppy drive actually sounds like a floppy drive and not a can of paint or a baby rattle or a shaker of some sorts. Oh man, we have a look at the boot devices menu. This thing is just jamming with hard drives. Floppy diskette, please. Starting Caldera Dr. DOS. Dr. Fat 32.sys. Starting Data Lifeguard Tools. Go ahead and lock in the focus here. Data Lifeguard Tools. Okay, now I might want to adjust the camera settings for the monitor. There we go. Data Lifeguard Tools. Copyright 1996 through 1999, Western Digital Corporation. Copyright 1999, Storage Soft Incorporated. All rights reserved. Press any key to continue. Okay, I saw the keyboard lock light turn off, so we're doing something. I'm not entirely sure what kind of clever tricks our keyboard's up to at the moment. I don't know, it may have just totally mangled the USB driver. Okay, yeah, this is why PS2 is a thing. And I have a PS2 keyboard kicking around here somewhere, so yet another false start. Such is the fun with working with old computers. We will be back in just yet another moment, or 3 or 5 through 2800.289. I'm going to say one thing about PS2 connectors. PS2 connectors that do not have a flat side, which allows you to easily index the connector and orient it properly, suck. Anyways, with that, let's get back to the video. So I've got a Lenovo PS2 keyboard over here, and I've had to use it a few times when USB keyboards just simply don't cooperate. Period, paragraph. Anyways. And so I've had to break out this keyboard yet again. But the nice thing about PS2 is that it's basically going to just work. Okay, let's go ahead and boot from the floppy diskette again. Starting Caldera Dr. DOS. I'll turn this lamp off back here so we can see better. In fact, I'll turn this lamp over here off. So, in fact, I should just go ahead and turn all these lamps off, but move this keyboard out of the way first so I don't walk over the top of it and do bad things to it. Let's turn all the lamps off, because this computer is a nice flashlight in here. Data Lifeguard Tools. Put your life on it. Okay. Looks like we'll be adjusting the exposure as well. Press any key to continue. And just like that, a PS2 keyboard works wonders. Okay, so here we are in the Data Lifeguard Tools. This is a rather archaic looking screen. Okay. Easy install. Data Lifeguard installation software that provides quick and easy setup for your Western Digital hard drive. Partitions and formats. Quickly copies data from your existing hard drive to your new hard drive. And let me see. Diagnostics. Data Lifeguard utility that verifies defect-free status of Western Digital hard drives. Performs quick 90-second tests to verify drive status. If errors are reported, this program attempts to restore the hard drive to a defect-free status. BIOS check. Data Lifeguard utility that provides information for quick and accurate technical support. Determines system BIOS support for large capacity hard drives. Identifies all IDE devices in your system. Reports capacity, serial number, model number, etc. I can tell you that this system does have large hard drive support, because it is able to natively address and boot from very large hard drives and partitions, such as the 137 gigabyte RAID 0 array in this system that Windows XP64 bit edition lives on. Ultra ATA management. Data Lifeguard utility that provides Ultra ATA management. Determines Ultra ATA support on Western Digital hard drives. Enables or disables Ultra ATA support on Western Digital hard drives. Contact information. Show information on how to contact Western Digital in storage soft. About Data Lifeguard. Data Lifeguard Tools version 2.7. Data Lifeguard Easy Install software 10.6. Data Lifeguard Diagnostics software v4.11. Data Lifeguard BIOS check software 2.55G. Data Lifeguard Ultra ATA management software v1.77. And restart system. So, we'll go ahead and receive the BIOS check. Copyright 2000 storage soft. Detecting drives. Please wait. I'm not sure if this software is going to play nice with the serial ATA card in the system. However, it probably doesn't even initialize serial ATA drivers, so... I'm not sure what's going on here. It may just be DOS being DOS and doing funny things. It may not be playing nice with the serial ATA hardware in the system, or it's just being cantankerous. Or the system may have just completely locked up for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Like, yeah, we are truly locked up. Like, Control-Delete's not working, so it's bungled something horribly. Okay, so we're not going to do that. We're not going to take that option again. F11. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Oh, what was that stuff in the BIOS screen? primary master 17.07 W17 WDC WD 800JB. Huh. Yeah. I don't think I've seen that before. And if you're wondering what I'm doing to pause the BIOS, the post, so that way I can read this information, I'm pressing the pause break key on the keyboard. Yeah, that's certainly not anything you see that's certainly not something you see people using these days. Yeah, kind of like the scroll lock key. Okay, just tried to PXE boot, and what is going on here? Huh. I'm not sure I like the sight of it trying to PXE boot. Might have jacked up the boot order a bit. So yeah, we're not going to go into the Ultra ATA management menu. We are going to. Well, we're not. Yeah, we're not going into the BIOS check. Actually, we are going into Ultra ATA management, and let's see what this does. Okay, Data Lifeguard Tools, Data Lifeguard Ultra ATA Management. This utility is designed exclusively to configure the Ultra ATA capability of Western Digital hard drives. It does not add Ultra ATA capability, but simply enables or disables the Ultra ATA capability, the Ultra ATA 33, 66, or 100 capability of drives that support it. This utility will not enable Ultra ATA mode 33, 66, or 100 support on Western Digital drives that are not Ultra ATA mode 33, 66, or 100 compatible. This utility will not work on non-Western Digital drives. Press Enter to continue or F10 to exit. Copyright 1994 to 2001, Western Digital Corporation. Well, we want to continue, please. We're not reading that license agreement. Preparing to load Data Lifeguard Lifeline. Huh. As part of our Data Lifeguard suite of tools, we include our Data Lifeguard Lifeline program. Data Lifeguard Lifeline enables Western Digital to quickly alert customers and communicate critical issues that could affect their drives or data. In addition, Lifeline enables our customers to take advantage of potential Western Digital hard drive updates and enhancements. So if you wish to skip, hit F2, press Enter to continue, or hit F1 to review Ultra ATA requirements. Let's review Ultra ATA requirements. Enabling Ultra ATA on your Western Digital hard drive will provide Ultra ATA support for that mode for the hard drive only. There are many conditions that must be met before your system can utilize Ultra ATA. Your Western Digital drive being in one of these Ultra ATA modes is enabled, or your Western Digital drive being Ultra ATA enabled is simply one of the conditions that must be met. All the following conditions must be met before your system will be able to utilize Ultra ATA. Your host system must support the Ultra ATA selected motherboard chipset, BIOS, and/or add-on controller card. A 40-pin 80-conductor cable must be attached between the host system and the hard drive. Your operating system must be enabled for DMA transfers. Your hard drive must support the Ultra ATA mode, and this capability must be enabled. Press Enter to continue. Installing Data Lifeguard Lifeline. Important. Even though the Data Lifeguard Ultra ATA management utility is non-destructive to the data on your hard drive, Western Digital always recommends you have a current backup before performing any operations on your hard drive. Data Lifeguard Ultra ATA management utility must run from a floppy diskette. Boot to DOS before running this program. It should not be run when Windows is active. Well, we're booting off of the Data Lifeguard diskette, so I think both of those are satisfied. Warning. Please verify. Oh, we have a red bar across the top of the screen. Okay. Please verify that all of the requirements for Ultra ATA support are present prior to selecting an Ultra ATA mode for your Western Digital hard drive. Enabling a mode that is not supported by your system configuration could result in BIOS or other system problems. Read the following screen to verify that you have the required components. Please see our website at www.westerndigital.com for information on potential issues. Alright. And we just read this. The only thing that's not been met here is the fact that we have a 40 conductor 40-pin cable instead of a 40-pin 80 conductor cable. So it would probably be wise of us to shut down and go ahead and replace it. Replace it with the one shipped in the box. So for now, we're going to exit the utility. We're going to skip the BIOS check because that bungled up the system pretty good. There's that. About Data Lifeguard. Okay, that's help information. Let's load the diagnostics. Press Enter to view license agreement. Yeah, we accept it. Option to install Data Lifeguard Lifeline. Press any other key. Space. Lifeline will be installed. Okay, it just cycled the hard disk. DLG Diag. I remember playing with this utility years ago. Okay, so we were getting the firmware. So what we were seeing in the BIOS was the hard drive's identifier string. And that looks like it includes the firmware and the complete model number for the hard disk. So let's see, model, serial number, firmware, the CHS parameters, 155.061.1663. I think that's actually a CHS identifier string to tell the system that there's some form of LBA translation logic in use. So, DCM. I'm not sure what that means, and the drive was manufactured October 25th, 2002? I thought the label said October 25th, 2002. Yeah, the build dates, the build date and the drive information says October 25th, 2002, but the label says October 26th, 2002, which is interesting. Huh. So select drive and view status. Status details. So we have the Western Digital drive, and then we have the Maxtor drive. It's like status details. This drive is not a Western Digital drive or is an unidentified WD drive, and no additional testing is supported. Drive 0 at base port 1F0 is now selected. Okay, so we can do a quick test. DLG Diag detected 2 hard drives. If 2 is not the expected count, then do these steps. Verify that the IDE cable is properly connected to the drive and the system board. Verify that the power connector is properly attached to the drive. Verify that the jumper settings for each drive are correct. We actually fought with that earlier. Jumper options are shown in the drive label and are described in detail in the installation guide. Now, the installation guide is extremely detailed. I have not read it, but I know my way around these older systems enough to beat and bang and bash my way through a hard drive installation. So press any key to continue. The software is going to retrieve and verify the Data Lifeguard status from the drive. The test will take approximately 90 seconds. Press R to run the test, or press any other key to return to the main menu. Let's run. It looks like we can abort at any time by pressing Alt-X. The hard disk line on the front of the system is on solid. We have a bevy of spinning hard drives in this system. And it's of course about 2 seconds after I stop the video rolling that the test finishes. No errors detected for this drive. Press any key to return to the main menu. So let me see, view test results. Test stopped as a 4/15/2022, 21:13:51, probably local system, probably the time obtained from the real-time clock. Okay, so let me see. I don't think I want to print test results. The log file is currently closed. Floppy drive cannot be accessed. Okay. Enter and print RMA information. Okay, print RMA information for the selected drive. Continue to next menu without printing. Yeah, we're not. Yes. Exit. Yeah, we don't need to RMA the hard disk, thankfully. I don't even think Western Digital would accept an RMA on this drive. You know, I was going to dump the smart stats off the disk. We'll go ahead and quit. At this time, the system and drives must be reset. This reminds me very much like a blue screen of death. At this time, the system and drives must be reset. Hit Control-Delete or turn off power to reset the computer. You know what, I'm feeling advantageous. We're going to turn the system power off. And turn the system power back on. Go for the boot menu, please. And of course we have our two system RAID controllers initializing, plus a gigabit network controller. Floppy diskette, please. Starting Caldera Dr. DOS. Found FAT32X partition type 0CH on drive. Yep, LBA, so there's definitely some logical block address and translation going on here. Okay, we've already done the diagnostics. We skipped the BIOS check. We need to do the Ultra ATA management, but before we do that, we need to replace the IDE cable. Let's go easy install. And I think for the easy install, we're also going to need to replace the IDE cable. Okay. See the easy install, quick install poster, or press F1 for details. Loading help file. Just a moment. When a PC compatible... Oh my. Now, this actually looks pretty interesting. When a PC compatible computer is turned on, the system BIOS, also referred to as CMOS, uses a table of user configurable variables to set up the system. Each BIOS is different. The information provided here is to be used as a guideline. For more details, refer to your system's user guide. Of course, they're actually assuming that the system has a user guide, which, since this one's a custom-built system, I am the user guide. So I guess I'll be referring to myself then. I do that a lot. So anyways, when most computer systems are turned on, a memory test is performed and then a message is displayed telling you how to enter the BIOS setup, usually F1, F2, or delete. If your system does not tell you how to enter the BIOS setup, refer to the user's manual. And I'm pretty sure in this case you would want to refer to the motherboard manual. If you cannot find any information on how to enter the BIOS setup in the user's guide, contact the system's manufacturer. Many newer machines have a feature in the BIOS setup program that auto-detects the hard drive for you instead of manually entering in the parameters of the drive. If your system has an auto-detect feature, use it to ensure proper handling of the drive by your system's BIOS. Now, this system is a bit of an oddity, as you can configure a hard drive using both methods. You can manually enter a hard drive type. You can do hard disk auto configuration. You can manually enter a hard drive type, or you can manually enter the hard drive parameters yourself. If your system does not have an auto-detect feature, select user-defined and enter 1023 cylinders, 16 heads, and 63 sectors for the drive parameters. Selecting user-defined ensures that EasyBIOS will install on your system. Now, I've never heard... Now, 1023, 1663, I think that's an LBA translation logic thing. Now, EasyBIOS, I don't think I've heard of EasyBIOS, but I'm going to assume that that's probably disk overlay software. If your system BIOS does have auto-detect or user-defined, select a predefined drive type 9 or higher. Selecting type 9 or higher ensures that EasyBIOS will install on your system. So press any key to continue. You are bound by the license agreement contained within this software. Yeah, I agree to the license that I never read. Gathering information just a moment, and let's see if this manages to bungle up the system hard. Which it may very well have just done. A solid green floppy diskette drive activity indicator light. Let's try opening the optical drive, because I think this system is one of the systems I have that will actually put the hard drive activity indicator light on if you open the optical drive. Yeah, it will. And it does so. So, can we reset? No, it got creative, and to use a creative term, ran one end of itself right up the other and locked up. So yeah, I'm actually going to try replacing the IDE cable, turning on Ultra ATA 100, and we will be back in a little bit. Okay, so I just replaced the IDE cable with a 40-pin 80 conductor cable, the one that was actually in the box. So now that we've done that, I'm actually going to turn on Ultra ATA 100 mode. So let's go Ultra ATA management. Bzz, 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 bzz. Continue. Yes, I accept. Press enter to continue. And we're booting from the Data Lifeguard floppy diskette. And all the requirements should be met. Type Y to proceed if all conditions are met. So, host system, well, this is 2000. This is the motherboard from about 2004. So the host system should support it. We do have a 40-pin 80 conductor cable. I do believe I have DMA transfers turned on Windows 98 SE, and Ultra ATA 100 must be okay. Your hard drive must support the Ultra ATA mode selected, and its capability must be enabled. Well, the hard drive supports Ultra ATA 100, and we are about to enable the capability. Getting system information, please wait. Okay, so the maximum hard drive is set for Ultra ATA 33. Okay. You have selected drive 2, Maxtor 4R080L0 at base port 1F0. The drive you have selected is not a Western Digital hard drive. So we'll select a different drive. Okay. You have selected drive 1, WDC WD800JB-00 at base port 1F0. We will enable 1, 2, 3, Ultra ATA 100. Okay, we just disabled it. The hard drive now supports up to, okay, Ultra ATA 100 was successfully disabled on drive 1. So for the changes to take effect, you must cycle power. So, you must cycle power. Okay. Exit Data Lifeguard Ultra ATA Management Utility. In order for the changes to take effect, you must cycle power. To cycle power, turn off your computer, wait 30 seconds, and power up. So we're going to go ahead and power the system down. And then look at the weather radar. Welcome to springtime. Mother Nature is off her medications. I think it's been long enough. Okay, I just mashed a bunch of keys. However, I did call up the boot menu, but I also told it to do a network boot, so it's probably going to do both. Or not. We're going to boot from a floppy diskette. Starting Caldera Dr. DOS. Yeah, I'm not sure why some of the options are copyright 1976. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure why a couple of the program choices are causing DOS to lock up. Okay, let's go back to my Ultra ATA management. Yes, 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 I know this. Okay. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. Drive current state is ATA 100. So I didn't change anything. F10. Okay, I didn't change anything, so I'm just going to simply reset. And I'm not sure. I'm going to try one of those options again and see if we get anywhere with it this time. Now that Ultra ATA 100 is certainly enabled. Good Lord, we've probably booted from this floppy diskette at least a dozen times in the past hour. Okay, let's see if easy install is actually going to help us do an easy install, or if it's going to be an easy lockup. Yeah, if it locks up again, I'm going to turn off both of the SATA controllers I have installed in the system. Like if I have to, I'll turn off the SATA. If I have to, I'll turn off the SATA controller on the motherboard, and then I'll just if I have to, I'll turn off the SATA controller on the motherboard and then just straight up unplug the SATA card I have installed in the system. Easy install, more like easy lockup. So now we are going into the system setup, and we're going to have some fun in there. Isn't that neat? Speed running Data Lifeguard Tools. What an idea. Okay, let's see. Advanced boot sequence. I don't know why I'm doing that. For some reason the network controller got put back on the boot list. I'm going to leave it as is. Let me see. Onboard SATA IDE controller disabled. Okay, now save and exit setup. And I think to get into the SATA controller, the SATA cards config menu, I have to spam F4. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot I can do in here. So I'll just exit. And of course, now that I've turned off the onboard serial ATA controller, we don't have its sign-on screen. And speaking of boot orders, serial ATA controllers and whatnot, the boot order on this thing is a can and a half of worms. Let me tell you that. Okay, let's see if easy install is still an easy lockup. And then just nothing. Yeah, looks like an easy lockup to me. So next step is going to be to physically unplug the SATA card from the system. Be back in a bit. Okay, so disconnecting the, turning off the system's integrated serial ATA controller and physically unplugging the SATA card I had in here seems to have done the trick. Are you installing Windows XP? Escape F1. Not on this hard drive. Okay. Huh. Build D09E112 lowercase h capital D. Loading help file. Please put your easy install diskette back in the floppy drive A. or not. Help will not be available during this session. Okay, fully automatic install. Partitions and formats one of the identified drives below. Okay, fully automatic install, please. Drive 1 is not installed. Install drive 1 now, yes. Checking BIOS operation. Selecting copy system files copies the system files from an existing hard drive or floppy diskette to the new hard drive. This makes a hard drive bootable. Selecting copy drive copies an exact image of another drive's data onto the selected drive. In fact, let's go back into the fully automatic install, because I heard this thing making an interesting noise when it was doing the cylinder check. Yeah, that's an interesting noise. You don't listen to this. That's pretty interesting. We want to copy drive 2. Maxtor 4R080L0. Okay. Calculating. Use sectors. Your operating system supports FAT32 partitions. FAT32 partitions utilize disk space more efficiently, and the partitions may be greater than 2 gigabytes in size. However, they are incompatible with many disk utilities and virus detection programs published prior to 1997. Would you like to use FAT32 partitions? Oh my goodness. ARF. Abort, retry, failure. Oh, that actually quit out of the whole program. Can I eject the floppy diskette? Yeah, I probably did. That would definitely do it. Okay, I am not installing Windows XP. Fully automatic install. Install drive 1. Copy drive 2. Calculating use sectors. So, okay, the FAT file system, which is used by DOS and Windows, comes in 2 varieties. DOS, Windows 3X, Windows NT 4.0 or earlier, and the retail release of Windows 95, also known as Windows 95A, use FAT16 partitions, which are limited to 2.1 gigabytes in size. Windows 95 OSR2, Windows 95 OEM Service Release 2, OSR2, or also known as Windows 95B, or later versions of Windows, such as Windows 98 and 2000 or later, can also create FAT32 partitions which do not have the 2.1 gigabyte size limitation. Would you like to use FAT32 partitions? Yes. We'll use this partition size. Easy install will now partition and format the hard drive. Here we go. Okay, so I imagine that the Windows XP question we were getting probably configures how the system probably configures how it does a drive copy. And the camera is reporting that its battery is just about pooched. I really need to get a new info lithium battery for this thing. Well, yeah, so far it looks like everything's gone pretty smoothly, other than having to unplug my serial ATA card and, well, overall just disable all my serial ATA hardware. So, yeah, I'm just going to let the camera sit here until the battery quits. So, or I could do the smart thing and turn the camera off and charge the thing while we wait. So, that looks like we'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, hard drive setup complete. Remove any diskette from your floppy drive and press escape to restart. Okay. The hard drive is partitioned, formatted, and ready for use. Remove any diskette from your floppy drive and press escape to restart your system. And we'll just mash Control Delete and boot back into the disk and boot back into the diskette, which is what we're going to end up doing, because there was another menu that I wanted to check out that I couldn't because the system is locked up. Now that we don't post is quicker now that we don't have two different RAID cards trying to initialize. No command interpreter specified. Okay, something is slightly screwed up about this keyboard. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Unless the shift key being jammed down had anything to do with it. Okay, I wanted to go to the BIOS check menu. Yeah, that's the first thing we went to when... Okay, display data. Okay, IDE drive 1, well, this goes for both IDE drives. BIOS is properly controlling this drive in LBA mode. Standard legacy controller. First IDE port master device, ATA. Oh, actually getting a lot of details here. Okay. And we can actually see some of the we can actually see the 8.4, well, the 8.3 gigabyte limit in action if you look at the capacity column. So drive default 16383, 1663. Max LBA is a really big number. Capacity 80,026 megabytes. Drive current 4047, 16255. Max CHS capacity 8,454 megabytes. Using int51 physical 38309, 16255, 80,025 megabytes. int41 logical 80,023 megabytes. And regular int13, again 8.3, 8.4 gigabyte limit. Extended it int13, which is straight LBA, 80,026 megabytes. Okay, partition table, LBA 0, system type, FAT32 LBA. And okay, pretty detailed information here. Yeah, it looks like our master drive is about a gigabyte bigger. So, and there's the optical drive. int13 function 08H. int13 48H. exit no log file. Okay, that was interesting. Let's see about Data Lifeguard. Viewing file dlg.chk.text. Huh. I think we've just about gone through everything. Okay. Remove any disk from your A drive, which we have just done, and press enter to restart your system. So, okay. I'll go ahead and call up the boot menu here, and we're actually going to attempt direct boot from our new 80 gigabyte Western Digital hard drive. So, okay, so that's brought up our bootloader. Now, of course, Windows 2000 Professional and Windows XP Professional, those are not going to boot because XP Professional lives on 137 gigabyte RAID 0 array, which is on the SATA controller, which I currently have disabled in the system BIOS. And Windows 2000 Professional lives on the SATA card, which is physically unplugged right now. Just because we're going to try to boot from those. Oh, okay. Pressing any key reboots the system. I'm going to read that again. It is a pretty scary looking error message, though. Windows cannot start because of a computer disk hardware configuration problem. Could not read from the selected boot disk. Check boot path and disk hardware. Please check the Windows documentation about hardware disk configuration and your hardware reference manuals for additional information. And I'm pretty sure Windows 2000 is going to be the same way. Call up the boot menu again. How many times can one rebooted computer in the span of a single video? I'm pretty sure this video is getting to be insanely long. Look at Windows 2000. Windows 2000 provides a different error message. Windows cannot start because the following file is missing or corrupt, and it's citing the Windows NT kernel. That's not a good thing to be missing. So now we are going to boot into Windows 98 SE. So, we're getting an invalid system disk error. Replace the disk and then press any key. And of course we kick out. Yeah, we're getting some pretty interesting errors going on here. So I wonder what happens if we do a direct boot from the MaxStore drive. If it will boot up or not. Seek test number 20,510. See, if we direct boot from the MaxStore drive, we do get a Windows 98 startup screen. So, this might actually be one of those things where I'll have to use CloneZilla to do a direct drive-to-drive copy. Now, for some situations, either that, or I could tell it I'm installing, or I could boot back into the floppy diskette and tell it I'm installing Windows XP, which might change the boot order, which might change how it does things. Windows did not detect a mouse attached to the computer. You can. It's like Windows did not detect a mouse attached to the computer. What you can safely attach a serial mouse now. To attach a mouse to a PS2 mouse port, you must first turn the computer off. Whoopie-doo. And yes, that is one of the Microsoft Plus themes. We're probably going to get... Oh boy. This is freaking hilarious. I pressed escape on the keyboard, and we are logging into Windows. PCI multimedia video device. PCI FireWire. PCI IDE controller. Yeah, via Busmaster PCI IDE controller. And for some reason Windows Explorer is refusing to start. And I think it just locked up. Oh. Okay. System is busy. The system is busy waiting for the closed program dialog box to be displayed. You can wait and see, or you can restart your computer. Press any key to return to Windows and wait. Yeah, something's gone. Yeah, something's gone pretty... Yeah, something went southbound pretty hard. We are back an absolutely enormous amount of time later, if you're counting in minutes. So, holy crap. Here's what happened after the camera previously quit rolling. So, I got Windows 98 cloned over to the new Western Digital drive, and then everything kind of fell apart from there because the disk configuration had changed, and now the bootloaders, the bootloader entries were just pointing off into outer space. So basically, in summary, what I ended up doing is I had to boot my Windows 98 SE startup installation CD, and I used the sys command. I actually had a CD over to the C drive, which has Windows 98 on it. I had a CD over into the C drive, and navigate through the Windows directory and into the command directory, and then manually invoke sys.com to copy the base boot files from the virtual A drive created by the Windows 98 SE startup CD to the C drive, which replaced the boot sector on the C drive with a Windows 98 boot sector, and that made Windows 98 bootable. However, in the process of doing that, it trashes a Windows NT boot sector, which results in Windows XP and Windows 2000 being completely unbootable. And then what I ended up having to... Okay, so I started out by getting Windows XP bootable. And I used a Windows XP CD, went into the recovery console, logged on to the administrator account, and then I invoked, I think, boot BCD rebuild, with the rebuild switch, I believe, and that got me, and well, fix MBR followed by fix boot followed by the boot BCD command with the rebuild switch, and that recreated a valid MBR on the RAID 0 array. I think either that or the 80 gigabyte drive with Windows 98 SE on it. Then it created a new boot sector, and then the boot BCD rebuild command rebuilds the boot.ini file, which then allowed me to boot up into Windows XP, and then from there I was able to straighten out the boot.ini file and manually added an entry for Windows 2000, and somewhere along the way I think Windows 2000 had become corrupted because it was complaining about a missing it was basically saying that the Windows NT kernel was missing or damaged, which is a showstopper. And this system is really heavy in the front. Yeah, so we had a showstopper right there. I don't know what I did, but it just started booting again. So go figure that one out. And then once I got Windows XP and Windows 2000 booting up, what I then had to do is I had to boot my Windows 98 SE CD, and then I ran, and then of course I just said this not too long ago. I invoked the sys.com and copied the base system files to the C drive, and of course it trashed, and of course that trashed the Windows XP, the Windows NT bootloader that was on the drive. However, it made Windows 98 bootable and set the stage for what I needed to do next. Then, after that, I had to create a Windows 98 startup diskette, Windows 98 startup diskette, and then I had to use a batch file. I had to use a utility which I pulled off of the very the very teetery edge of the internet, because the site that originally hosted it has long since gone offline. Thankfully, it was archived, and thankfully the website and the file in question were both archived on the Internet Archive. So, and if I remember, I'll upload the utility and post it in the video description. Anyways, I had to copy the utility files to the floppy diskette, and then I had to boot from the floppy diskette without CD-ROM support. And then once I did that, I was able to invoke the utility, which then created a fresh bootsect.dos file, because apparently somewhere along the way the original bootsect.dos file had become corrupted. So I created a new bootsect.dos file, and I rebooted the system, and now all three operating systems are booting successfully. So we'll go ahead and let it boot up into Windows XP. Now once it in Windows XP boots really quickly. Like within 5 seconds of like here we just landed at the password prompt. So I mean, now I do have anti-malware software installed on Windows XP. Okay, it looks like that's not going to hold up the boot process. Both Windows 98 and Windows XP are trying to install a quote-unquote multimedia video device. That's a capture card I dragged over from the video capture machine. Again, more on that in an upcoming video. So we're all here. So let's go ahead and run msconfig. Zoom in on that. And then let's see, we'll go ahead and if we have a look over at our boot.ini tab in msconfig, we can see that right now the default is multi-0, disk 0, RDisk 1, partition 1, which if we look down here in our operating systems section is pointing to Windows XP Professional. And then we have this entry down here is for Windows 2000 Professional. And then right down here, that's the pointer. That is the pointer to Windows 98 SE. So, and whenever that option is chosen, it loads bootsect.dos into memory, and executes it. So if bootsect.dos becomes corrupted, then you're going to get the error we were seeing before, non-system disk or disk error. So, but now that we have a valid boot sector that this points at, it boots. So, if we hit check all boot paths, we get a thing saying we're all good. And now I'm going to make Windows 2000 the default operating system. So, I'm going to exit without. Actually I am going to restart. And I'm going to back the zoom off. Looks like our focus is alright. But yeah, I have learned a whole lot more about Windows bootloader configuration that I ever anticipated in the last 15 hours or so. So let's go ahead and boot up Windows 2000 Professional. And of course I've actually created several floppy diskettes in this adventure I've been on. Three of them to be precise. I have a Windows 98 SE boot disk with the Microsoft CD extensions. Then I have another floppy diskette containing the VIA RAID drivers for VIA RAID drivers for Windows Server 2003 and Windows XP64 that I needed whenever I booted the Windows XP Recovery CD. Windows XP Recovery CD or DVD? CD. And then I actually did boot the Windows 2000 CD, so I created the Silicon Image SIL 3114 driver diskette for use with that. So, of course, all three of these are write protected. I'm going to go ahead and log on here. An error occurred while reconnecting I to tech stuff. Yeah, see, multimedia video controller. Just Alt-Tab over here. And as you can see, everything boots up just fine now. And it is... I've actually noticed an increase in overall system performance since I pulled that Maxtor drive out of there. Because, yeah, that... If you remember earlier in the video, that Maxtor hard drive was only limited to Ultra ATA 33. So I imagine that was probably dragging down... I imagine that was probably dragging down the entire system bus. Because the SATA controller... Yeah, the SATA controller in this system is not internally bridged to IDE at all. It uses its own separate boot ROM, and I'm not entirely sure how it hooks itself into the boot process, but I imagine that's accomplished using some low-level interrupt calls that can be performed. A little bit sidetracked there, but anyways, I think this Maxtor drive is just dragging down the entire system bus, because now that I've got that WD drive in there, everything seems to be booting up much faster. Of course, let me see. Is the ext2? Let's go ahead and assign this a drive letter. Yep, and this is a hard drive. This is the hard drive I put in here from the video capture machine. There's Windows XP, and here's Windows 98 SC, and of course the root of the disk is just jumbled with files because of rather shoddily coded installer utilities that just dump everything to C, dumps everything to the C drive, whether the C drive is actually valid, and whether the C drive is actually the hard drive the active operating system is booted from or not. And so yeah, I don't know how this APC UPSD folder got in here. Oh yeah, I think I know how this folder got in here. Because I test installed APC UPSD under Windows XP for something. Don't need that anymore. Yeah. But anyways. Actually, let's look at our device manager. Dial-up connections, woohoo! Administrative tools, computer management. Maximize that. Device manager. Yeah, see, we have a multimedia video controller, and it looks like we're missing. What is going on here? The device is disabled. Oh yeah, I disabled that. Yeah, that was intentional. And then multimedia video controller. That is the capture card I put in here from the video capture system. But for now, I'm just going to disable that. So, yeah, I'm just going to disable that so it doesn't prompt me to install it every single time I boot the system. But anyways, device manager, disk drives, WDC, WD800JB. That's the hard drive we put in here. Let me see. There's not really any configurable options on these. Properties. Okay, very SCSI and RAID controllers. So anyway, but yeah, I think that's about it for this video. So I mean, hard drive's installed. So yeah, the hard drive works and everything. Maybe what do I have? Well, do I have Passmark disk check installed on here? No, it doesn't look like I have Passmark disk checkup installed on here. So I'm just going to copy it over from one of my other. I'm just going to copy it over from one of my other systems. So let's see. And if anybody's curious, yes, I do have the USB drivers installed for Windows 98 SE. So my computer, removable disk L. The drive letters are getting pretty crazy. Yeah, let me see. 3.5-inch floppy on A. Then Windows 98 SE is the drive C. Windows 2000 is D. The card reader has 4 empty removable media drives, E through H. And yes, this is a combination floppy drive and card reader unit. Local disk I, that's from the video capture system. The optical drive is on J. Windows XP64 is on K. And now my USB drive is on L. WC7, let's refresh. $800 JB. So look at the smart info. Raw read error rate 0, spin up time, start stop count 20. And it's been powered on 15 hours, so yeah, so it's an almost 20-year-old hard drive that's only been powered cycled 20 times, and only has 15 hours of power on time. Of course, I put all those on there. So yeah. Anyways, I do believe that is going to conclude. The video. So, I'm going to eject my USB flash drive from here. So anyways, this is TCG Productions, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace out, guys. Peace out.